Hello, welcome back to my vlog. We're doing part two of my life story. We ended the first vlog. Well, first, I want to say thank you so much for coming back. And I hope that you enjoyed the first part of my life story. And I just want to say thank you for taking your time to check out the second part of my life story. I'm grateful because I'm hoping that this will enable us to have a better connection. Just as much as I hope to hear from you in my comments and anything that you want to mention about how you relate to my vlogs, anything you'd like to hear about, any other topics you'd like me to share on. It's all about you and I. So just God bless you and I thank you. And here's to our relationship. So I left off in the previous vlog in regards to high school. So I'm going to let you know that I've always been an introvert. I've always had fear. I've always felt less than. I'm afraid. I'm anxious. And so that was definitely in elementary school. And I think a lot of that too is also normal as a child to have. So 100%. I don't think, I think things I was aware that maybe not, that it was a little bit more than other people, but also unaware that anything was necessarily wrong. And then, as I had mentioned in my previous vlog, high school just was. It was, if anything, it definitely wasn't the greatest. Nope, not at all. Um, it was just, it's just something that I had to experience. We all have to experience high school. Um, but it's definitely through my adolescence and finishing high school where I was going to be coming into the start of the difficulty in my life. And things were just very much more exacerbated than they were in elementary school. So in high school, which again, I think is very common for a lot of high schoolers, adolescents. And once you leave high school and you have to find a way for yourself, well, if you don't have support or if I'm struggling, then it's not necessarily going to be easy. And I do know, and I will say that I had some more interactions with my father. Um, I think just minimal as a result with moving in with my mom. So then my father didn't play much of a role in my life for the rest of high school. But then when I was 19, but for the grace of God, I had finished high school, almost didn't graduate actually. I wanted to graduate with my OAC diploma, but we hadn't calculated our credits correctly. And so at that point, I was already working full time. So we were allowed to go back part time to high school, get the credits that I needed to graduate with my OAC diploma. And we had also, though, again, myself and my twin, turned 19. So going to high school and turning 19, drinking age, don't really go together. So that was the start of everything for me. So, but for the grace of God, graduated. And it's not until I looked back in hindsight to be like, wow, that was kind of a big deal. Like I almost didn't even graduate, but at that point, it didn't even matter. And that is a theme in my life is I think I play down things that happen. Yeah, I do. I absolutely play. And I think that's maybe a little bit because I things aren't necessarily a big deal, what I feel, to my family. So, yeah, things are definitely played down. So, 19 years old, I get into a very serious car accident and I break my neck. I have a C2 fracture. I have to wear a halo, and that's that big contraption that you put, um, it's on your head, and there's like a vest that you wear. I don't know if you can see, but there and there, so that's where the screws, they had to go into my skull, and this width is how much the screw goes through your skull, but not into your brain. So, but I'm extremely blessed because of how young I was and I was in very good health. I only had to wear it for 2 months instead of originally they wanted it for 3 months. And I was up and walking the very next day after the car accident. And all in all, I think it took me about, so 2 months I wore the halo, then I had to wear a hard collar. I was back to working full time. I think in 8 months, that was that was not good. That was way too fast of a return to work. Again, I had no idea about that. That's not until hindsight. But 8 months, I was fully back to work, and I can see now that I was not prepared to go back to work a full time job after such a traumatic car accident. I didn't have too many residual impacts, not to the severest degree that it could have been. Um, After the car accident, I went so long thinking I found out that a C2 fracture, I was under the assumption that it was automatic paralysion. And it's not until recently, so in my 30s, that I found out. So it's called a hangman's fracture, the C2. And it's actually, that's the vertebrae that you break, when they hang someone. So it's supposed to be automatic death. So God wants me here. God wants me here. I've always believed I have a very, very important and special role to play for Him on this earth. And I'm very grateful for that. And so there are some residual side effects that I have. A big one is I can't sit for too long. That it does hurt. Um, but other than that, it's I do very, very well. I'm very, very grateful. So I get back to work. I don't stay with the job, I don't think, for too long. And so that was January 7th, 2004. And I definitely got into smoking a lot of pot and drinking a lot. Yeah, drinking a lot. Again, I moved out on my own when I was 18 years old. So I didn't even think that that was too much of a big deal, but like moving out on your own at 18, that I don't know exactly what my rush was. And so there was those years from 19 to 24 of just a lot of partying. Yeah, a lot of partying. I I was very sick. Yeah, I was absolutely very sick. And then by June 8th of 2004, I went to treatment for drug and alcohol abuse and addiction, drug and alcohol addiction. And that's forever. I'm so grateful that I didn't have too long of a period. You'll come to know I had a very traumatic childhood. And I'm very grateful that the period of the drinking and the just not being able to cope, hurting myself, that period wasn't a long period. Even thinking about it now, it's the first time that I'm thinking about it like that. And that's amazing. I'm so grateful. So I was 24 when I went to treatment, and I was 24 when I decided that it was either going to be I was going to die, because I'm an addict. I don't have a choice. There is no gray. Um, you give me one of something, and that's never going to be enough for me ever. It's who I am. That's my makeup, and I accept that wholeheartedly. I have to work every single day at making sure that I surround myself with people who know that I'm confident enough to talk about that. And when I have thoughts or feelings, I'm just open and communicating that. And I'm very, very grateful to live this life instead of the other life where I was very sick and unable to cope. So I will do whatever it takes because I know what it's like to want to die and to try to die because you just can't cope on this earth. What we have to deal with is just too much. I understand that. I get that, and that's also my goals in making these videos, this vlog, um, is because I know the struggle, and it's not like it was, but it could be, and I don't know when that can come up sometimes. But I know how much I've benefited from this journey in recovery, and that's my purpose and calling, is to share this because we all need one another, and we can get better, and we can be supported, and we can live a life that's so beautiful, that's so much more than we ever thought of. And I love you. I love each and every one of you, and I'm here for you. um, so I'm just going to stop the video there, and I'm going to continue on the last and final one from once I return from treatment, and what life's been like, and how I'm going to move forward. So thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me and to learn about me. And until our next vlog, I'll see you then. God bless and lots of love. Bye.